Let's get right into it. Number 10. The 3-3-3 rule. Imagine you're out hiking, feeling like a real-life Bear Grylls, and suddenly you're not sure where you are. The trail's gone. Your phone has died. You look around and every tree, every rock looks exactly the same. You've officially entered panic mode. Your heart rate skyrockets, your breathing gets shallow, and your brain decides to start throwing a bunch of useless, frantic ideas at you all at once. This is the moment most people make their first and often fatal mistake. They lose control. They start running, trying to get somewhere, anywhere. They burn through energy and make terrible decisions, all because the emotional part of their brain has decided it's time to take the wheel. But there's a simple little mental trick that can save your life, and it's built to directly combat that initial crippling wave of panic. It's called the 3-3-3 rule. It's not some mystical survival hack from a guru. It's a grounded psychological tool designed to bring your prefrontal cortex back online. Here's how it works. Find and name 3 things you can see. Any 3 things. A rock, a tree, a stick. Then, name 3 things you can hear. A bird chirping, the wind, your own breathing. Finally, move 3 parts of your body. Wiggle your fingers, your toes, or turn your head. This might sound ridiculously simple, but it does something incredible. It forces your brain to stop catastrophizing and start engaging with the present. It redirects your frantic, panicked thoughts towards simple, observable reality, giving the logical part of your brain a chance to catch up and say, "Okay, let's not run off a cliff. Let's think." It's an immediate, on-the-spot reset button for your nervous system. Number 9. The dying plant trick. So you've calmed down. Congratulations. Now what? Your instinct might be to find water immediately. After all, the golden rule of survival is to find water, right? The problem is, this often leads people to drink from the first puddle or stagnant creek they find, which is usually teeming with microscopic nasties that will give you a stomach bug so bad you'll wish you were still just lost. So how do you find water that won't instantly destroy your insides? You do what your ancestors did. Look for a plant that's on its last legs. Not a thriving green monster, but a wilting, slightly yellowish plant. Why? Because the very act of a plant wilting is a sign of a high water table nearby. It's saying, "I'm trying, but the water's just a little bit out of my reach." A thriving plant might be getting water from anywhere, a deep root system, a recent rain shower. But a dying plant is often a silent signpost, pointing directly to a shallow and often cleaner source of water just a few feet below the surface. So instead of trekking miles to a questionable river, you just need to dig a foot or 2 down next to a sad-looking weed. Number 8. The negative emotion map. Most of us have been taught that when we're in a high-stress, high-stakes situation, we need to stay positive. But that's a lie. In a disaster, your most powerful tool isn't optimism. It's a cold, hard, pessimistic realism. This might seem counterintuitive, but think about it. If you're lost and your only mental script is, "I'll be fine, someone will find me," you're not planning. You're just waiting for a happy ending that might never come. This is where your brain's natural pessimism can actually save your life. It's time to harness your inner doomsayer. Instead of thinking about what could go right, start thinking about every single thing that could possibly go wrong. This isn't about wallowing. It's about creating a mental map of threats and problems. What if a storm rolls in? What if you run out of food? What if you injure yourself? By mentally simulating every single negative outcome, you are unconsciously building a contingency plan for each. Your brain is a supercomputer, and when you feed it worst-case scenarios, it begins to generate solutions and pathways to avoid them. It's basically a psychological defense mechanism, turning your anxiety into an actual, actionable plan. Number 7. The psychological campfire. When you're lost alone and the sun has gone down, the real enemy isn't the cold or the animals, it's your own mind. The darkness amplifies every rustle, every snap of a twig, turning your environment into a haunted house of your own creation. This is where the simple act of building a fire becomes about way more than just warmth. It's a psychological anchor. A campfire is a tiny, flickering island of safety and control in a world that has become terrifyingly unpredictable. It's a symbol of human ingenuity and your capacity to shape your environment, no matter how small that shaping is. The simple act of gathering tinder and rubbing two sticks together gives your panicked brain a task, a purpose. And that purpose is what keeps you from freezing up completely. The light from the fire creates a visible perimeter, a psychological shield against the unseen things lurking in the darkness. You're not just warming your hands, you're calming your amygdala. It's a primal biological signal to your nervous system that says, I have power here, I am safe. Number 6. The memory palace trick. Imagine you've just been through a disaster. Maybe you were in a car accident or your house was hit by a tornado. The immediate aftermath is a blur of chaos, and your brain goes into a mode that's both protective and incredibly unhelpful. It starts deleting details. Your mind will try to buffer the trauma by making the memories fuzzy, disjointed, and incomplete. This is called disassociation, and it's your brain's way of saying, I can't handle this right now. The problem is, those missing details could be the key to getting help. Was a window broken? Was someone else there? You can fight this by building a memory palace. This isn't some crazy meditation. It's just a mental trick to force your brain to record the data. As soon as you are in a safe place, sit down and close your eyes. Mentally walk yourself back through the event, step by step, as if you're a third-person observer. This isn't about re-experiencing the emotion. It's about forcing your brain to catalogue the facts in a chronological, spatial way. Where were you standing? What was the first thing you saw? What did you hear? This process forces the traumatic scrambled memories into a structured format that you can recall later, which can be critical for survival or investigation. It's like mentally taking a screenshot of a chaotic moment before your brain hits the delete button. Number 5. The cognitive reframing shield. So, you've hit a wall. Maybe you're exhausted, maybe you're out of food, and your internal monologue has become a toxic little monster whispering, you're going to fail. This is the point where most people give up. Their body is still moving, but their mind has already surrendered. This is a cognitive collapse, and it's just as deadly as hypothermia. The only way to fight it is with something called cognitive reframing. This sounds fancy, but it's a simple mental trick that humans have been doing for millennia. When your brain says, this is impossible, you force it to reframe the problem. Instead of thinking, I have to find a river that's 10 miles away, you reframe it to, I have to walk 1 more hour, and then I will rest for 5 minutes. You are breaking down an insurmountable goal into tiny, manageable tasks. You're not trying to find a rescue, you're just trying to take 1 more step. You're not fighting a storm, you're just trying to get to the shelter of that large rock. This isn't just about positive thinking, it's about changing the fundamental rules of the game your brain is playing. It takes a monumental, terrifying problem and turns it into a series of small, solvable puzzles. And your brain, being the problem-solving machine it is, responds to puzzles. Number 4. The social survival hack. In the movies, the lone wolf survivor is the hero, but in reality, one of the most powerful survival tools is other people. This might seem obvious in a group, but the real trick is knowing how to use people you don't even know and how to read the ones you're with. Most people, when faced with a group panic, freeze up. They follow the loudest, most confident person, even if that person has no idea what they're doing. But you can hack this. You can become the calm, non-panicked voice without even saying much. Your body language is a far more powerful communication tool than your words. When everyone else is running, you just calmly start walking in a deliberate direction. When others are screaming, you just start quietly and systematically gathering resources. Your nervous system is hardwired to mimic the nervous systems of those around you. When you project a quiet confidence, others will subconsciously begin to mirror it. You're not leading a charge. You're providing a silent psychological anchor that others can cling to. It's the difference between a stampede and an organized retreat, all based on the unspoken language of your body. Number 3. The memory lane trick. Imagine you're lost. It's been hours, maybe even a full day. Your brain, in its desperate attempt to find a solution, starts doing something insidious. It makes you believe you've seen this place before. You'll get a weird sense of déjà vu, a false familiarity with a trail or a landmark, and you'll follow it, only to realize you've been walking in a giant circle for the last 2 hours. This is your brain trying to create a pattern where there is none, a desperate attempt to find comfort in a terrifying situation. The way to combat this is to use your memory lane on purpose. As you walk, pick a landmark and mentally name it something ridiculous. The big angry rock. That tree that looks like a guy yelling. When you circle back around and see that tree that looks like a guy yelling for the second time, you'll know instantly that your brain is trying to fool you. You've officially marked your psychological territory. This simple act of giving things a mental label helps you externalize the map from your panic-confused brain and forces you to see the reality of your path, not the false familiarity your mind is creating. Number 2. The subconscious survival plan. Your body is a walking, talking library of ancient survival knowledge, but in a crisis, you forget to read the book. You get so wrapped up in the big problems, finding food, finding shelter, that you ignore the thousands of tiny micro-signals your body is sending you. The key is to stop and listen to your lizard brain. For example, when you're thirsty, you don't just feel it in your throat. Your entire body starts sending subtle clues. You might find yourself unconsciously licking your lips more, or you might find yourself fixated on the sound of water. Your body is trying to tell you something, but your conscious brain is too busy panicking to listen. The same thing happens with shelter. You'll feel a tiny, almost imperceptible pull toward a certain spot. Maybe it's a slight dip in the ground or a small overhang that your brain has already subconsciously calculated is the best place to be. The trick is to consciously become aware of these tiny subconscious pulls. Your body knows where the best shelter is, it knows when to conserve energy, and it knows what to be afraid of. The trick to survival isn't always about thinking. It's about listening to the ancient, wordless knowledge your body already possesses. Number 1. The why power-up. When everything else has failed and you're at the very end of your rope, the last thing that keeps you going isn't your body's strength or your brilliant mind. It's a reason. It's the why you need to survive. And it's not some fluffy motivational poster. It's an ingrained, biological, almost spiritual force. Your brain can fight through immense pain and exhaustion if it has a powerful enough reason to do so. And it's not about just thinking about your loved ones. It's about internalizing the specific reason you need to get home. Is it because you need to see your kids grow up? Is it because you have a mission to complete? Is it because you have a dog waiting for you? This why isn't just a thought. It's a biochemical cocktail that floods your body with the hormones and neurotransmitters it needs to keep going. It's the reason a person can lift a car off a loved one. It's the reason people survive against all odds. It's the one simple trick that's not about what you do, but about who you are. The most important survival tool isn't a knife or a fire starter. It's a reason to live. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.